So this is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. We start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. Gina, I did say it. I got him in. I did it the right way.
Yay!
We in here.
I don't have to backtrack on you.
Nah, you ain't got to do it. You ain't got to do it, okay? Let's bring everybody on, man. What's up, RC?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Gina.
Hey.
Hey, Mo B.
What's going on?
What's happening, Mo?
Hey, man.
Everything is everything.
We are talking today, man. You know, we've been educated, all right, and we're trying to make sure that everybody gets their education right, okay, with the parents, the teachers, the students, everybody. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page, all right? So we're talking about the status of education in our society. And, you know, when we started off Monday, it was talking about the Black society, but you know, we're talking about society as a whole, education as a whole. So we just want to keep the conversation going. But I want to try to get into it today. Is college really the next step for a lot of after high school? How can we keep our kids focused? And some schools just passing students along so they can get them out of there and make room for some more. You know, I don't know. We're going to talk about this and others. We have a special guest on with us tonight as well.
I got a question before we bring on the guest, though. I'm just wondering, because we all in this area, right? Did anyone know that there was a special meeting today at 5:30 for some huge decisions on our public school system here? Did anyone know that?
I did, yeah. I heard it on WLTH this morning.
WLTH, another part of the equation. All right, I'll put it like that. Hey, real quick, let me do this. You know, we had some, we celebrate a lot of people, okay? Harry Porterfield died a couple of days ago. He was one of the first Black anchors, newscasters. He lived actually in the area that we're all from, in the Northwest Indiana area. So condolences to his family, man. And, you know, this guy was bad. Mother, shut your mouth, okay? This Shaft.
Shaft.
He died as well, okay? Now, Harry Porterfield was 95 years old.
Wow.
Richard Roundtree was 81 years old. So these guys lived. These guys did their thing. And, you know, condolences to their families. And we're praying for all of them. All right. Let's get it started, okay, everybody? Let's welcome Pastor Marvin Davis.
Welcome,
Hello, how are you?
Hey,
Great
Pastor.
to have you.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes,
We're good. So we want to talk about the state of education. And Marcy says Pastor has some stuff that he can pass along for us as well. So I want to get into it. So I was looking at some things and talking, and I hope, Maurice, that your youngster gets a chance to chime in as well again.
I hit everybody up. I'm hoping I hit about 20, 30 people up. I'm hoping I get 10 or 5, you know. So I hit a lot of people up. He's actually in the audience probably now. I mean, I can see if I can get him to come on.
Well, let's get the conversation started. Do what you can. We'll get from there. So I just wanted to know seriously, because we said this a long time ago on previous shows, and we're saying it now today. Is college, and Pastor, you can talk about this too. Is college really the next step for a lot of people these days? Back in our time, yeah, everybody said, you go to school, get those 12 years in, and then you go to college and you get out of college and you get a great job. Is that the way it is now, Pastor?
No, I am a firm believer that college is not necessarily the next step for everyone. I believe higher education is the next step. And we
Okay.
need to look at young people and find out what their interests are, what their abilities are, and then engage them in the development. We educate them, they read and write and do arithmetic, but we don't educate them to the world they're getting ready to go into at the other end of that stage.
Yeah, that's something to think about too, because and it goes along with the other thing that I said earlier. Are we passing our children through school? Some
Yeah.
children aren't going to get it. They just are never going to get it. And so because they're getting older, we'll just say, okay, we give you this one little test and you can go to the next grade. All right. But I don't believe in passing kids along. If they don't have it, they don't have it. Okay. Yeah. We got to stop it right there.
I believe no child left behind did us a disservice, because some children need to stay there till they get it. And because they understand they can go forward without getting it, they basically develop another Walmart workforce, not knowing it.
You said a Walmart workforce. Wow.
Woo!
I like that. I like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, Pass. I just, I'm thinking about that. Some of us come from humble beginnings, and they learned those skills from Walmart. There's something to be said about those jobs.
Oh, it's a necessary. It's a definitely necessary. I'm just saying that a lot of our children have a lot of things inside of them that just need to be engaged. It's exposure. I mean, no one has taught them how to run a Walmart.
Right.
Come
Or how
on.
to start a Walmart.
But they can stack the hell out some shelves, right?
Yeah, and at every gas station, you see that other cultures have developed Walmarts in our community.
Mm-hmm.
You can get everything from tennis shoes to tires to T-shirts, because they understand supply and demand.
Yeah.
Okay, you put it out there, Pastor. Let's go. Go ahead, man.
Hey, I keep it real. That's why my flock is few, because the truth will dissipate the crowd.
Come on, that's true.
Get them out pretty quick.
But you know what?
Yes, sir.
When I talk to some of these kids and they're out here and they're slinging drugs and things, and I ask them, I'm like, do you realize you have skills to be able to get to be an entrepreneur and do your own business in something that's legal? A lot of them just don't realize, and then you don't have to always look behind, past your shoulder at who's coming at you, because you're doing something illegal. You're not bringing negative things also into the community and things. But you work with a group. That's how I met you this morning. Can you talk a little bit about that group that you're with and how you're helping to develop children?
I've been with Youth Bill USA, which is a nonprofit national organization, and we basically deal with out-of-school youth or charter youth, any youth that are not going to the traditional school. And we try to engage them and expose them and empower them. So when they do get ready to graduate, they have a well-rounded vision of what's ahead of them. We try to do things like talk about, believe it or not, we talk about Black Wall Street, and we try to talk to them about economics. And it's not a thing of not realizing they have the ability when they're selling drugs. They just don't get introduced to local marketing. They have no interest in world marketing because it doesn't affect them.
Wow.
They don't realize the clothes they wear, the labels that are on the back of them, they will never be able to get anything but be consumers. So the education that they're getting, partly the reason I'm still there is because I want to let them know I failed you, my generation. I got mine. I'm living good, but I forgot about you. And I didn't move out the city. I stayed in the city because they don't see the role models of what they can be. The dentist has moved out, the grocer has moved out, the butcher has moved out, and again, it's exposure to what I can be.
Yeah.
So our youth build program, I've been doing it for 20 plus years. But it's a Nehemiah project. It's got to go back to the parents.
Oh
It
yeah.
got to be at the church.
Wall. Yeah.
Um, I tell a lot of ministers, and I don't run with a lot of them because I do say, you know, we're the biggest changers of coin in the city, but we don't invest in the communities in which we are in. Unless we buying bigger parking lots, we don't invest in the community that we're in. And at the end of the day, you know, my Bible says, what you do to the least of mine, you do unto me.
Me.
Yeah.
So one day when I get to heaven, I might look up and see the face of one of my young people in the Lord. Because again, he's in all of us. We just need to engage that part.
Now, Pastor, it's interesting you said something about the clothes and this and that, all right? So now most of these schools have dress codes. You know, back in the day, we didn't have that dress code, so we wore what we wore.
Yes, we did.
Had a good time. All right, now they have dress codes. And do you think that affects the kids negatively?
I don't think it affects them negatively, but it's not having the positive result that they want. We used to have what's called esprit de corps when we went to school. We loved I graduated from Little Rock Central High in Little Rock, Arkansas. And the black and gold, we can sing our anthem. It's a beautiful atmosphere. So we wore our colors of our school, but it was on our leather jackets and on things like that. I don't think necessarily dressing a student in uniform, because again, I see too many similarities to institutionalizing in our schools. Walk to the right side, be quiet, stop at the line.
Like
you know, I see the same thing when I do my prison ministry. Only difference is those guys ain't leaving.
Yeah.
So basically, again, I don't see, you know, it was a time when people think, well, you on them all to wear the same thing. No, but we have put too much emphasis on clothes. You know, wear what you want to wear, be decent, and be coming to study. Have a book under your arm, a pencil in your pocket, and come to school. But more of our young people are spending on hairdos, nails, lipstick, eyeliner, and telephones than education.
So I think that, and it's just my personal thought, that, you know, when they did start doing the dress codes, the kids did rebel. They felt bad, you know, because everybody got to have on the same thing and this and that. So once they got out of that, once school was out, once the weekend came, they went buck wild and got dressed like they wanted to, and they were able to express themselves differently. You know, I think we need to keep the kids expressing themselves of who individually that they are, trying to uniform them and make them all the same.
The herd mentality.
You know, from what I was told when they first started that was more so because, you know, some kids can afford the name brand designers and others couldn't. And someone had told me again back then that was so other kids wouldn't feel like they're left out. So if everybody, you know, because if I can't afford this, you know, for my kid, but if everybody has the same thing, you know, it takes away all of that. So that's not it.
At the same time that they started that, Sister Amos, they also started having gifted and talented schools. So if I'm not at the gifted and talented school, I don't care what uniform I got. You already told me something.
Yeah.
I ain't gifted or talented.
Yeah, you already been labeled either way. You're gonna be
exactly.
You know, because I just keep remembering, you know, just what you said about, you know, the when you said Walmart. I mean, the reason why I reacted the way I react, because I think what we need to do is let them know that there are pathways in those, even in those Walmart jobs, you know,
without a doubt.
Micro, what I call them macro experiences and macro learning, where you take those bits and pieces of that job and use them in another step on your journey. Because, you know, you can go to a Walmart and learn management. You can go to a Walmart and learn accounting. They are corporate trained. They take you on those steps, but you have to show the initiative too.
And I think going there, like I tell my young students now, if you want to go into culinary arts and be a cook or be a restaurant owner, one of the places you might want to visit and work at is McDonald's. They're the most successful chain in the world. If you learn that, guess what? The hamburger in Florida, the one in California, the one in Alaska, and the one in New York all taste the same because how they're put together and the material they use. Now you understand the system of I go ahead and do my own thing. I just got to keep my product pure.
Yeah.
But we're not knowing, how to engage them as far as how to get to the dollar end. When I start talking money, them young people be quiet and listen up.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell them, the drywaller makes $65 an hour, they wonder what drywall is. I'm like, it's all in your house. What are you talking about?
Right.
And I understand all of that, okay, but do we want the kids, because a lot of times, as I've mentioned before, I speak at a lot of schools, colleges, and this and that, but I don't focus on the money aspect of it. I focus on the education, and basically I tell them a tale of tragedy about things that happened to me in the past and how I got through it through education, through willpower. So I think one thing that we do need to do is especially when we're trying to mentor these kids, get their focus off of the money.
I think in our society, from what is projected to them, it's got to lead them to a place. And I'm with you. If there was a magic wand, I would wave it that everyone would be content with themselves, not the envision of someone else they want to be.
Right.
But that is pushed out there so much. That's the goal. My goal is to be like Rick, and I don't know what Rick went through to get where he's at. Or I don't even know if Rick is happy where he is, because all I see is smile, but I just see him in front. Right. So again, I think economics. Economics is a driver, but it shouldn't be the only reason. I don't think the root of all evil is money, because me and my money ain't got a problem.
But the love of money.
It's the point that you love instead of the money. Don't make that the object. And I tell all my young people that this: if you want to find out what makes you the best that you can be, look at your heart, and whatever makes you happy, be content in doing it. If you want to be a janitor and it makes you feel good to have a clean hallway, be proud of what you're doing. And guess what? The money, I can say, is no issue, because that's the end game, to be content with who you are and who you become.
And that's what I just want the kids to understand. And when I say kids, I'm talking about all of them, from the school age kids. Just to understand that, you have to go to school. And we said it the other day, it's like a job. Okay, you got 8 hours to go there and do your thing, all right? But concentrate on that. Don't worry about all this other stuff. Take those phones away from these kids. Quit letting them sneak them in, these iPads or whatever, right? But focus on the goal. The goal at hand is to get educated, to know what you're facing once you leave high school, and be prepared for it. Let's read some of these comments here. BG Howard says, oddly enough, some of the best businessmen are reformed hustlers.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a business owner. Glennis Deere says, initially, uniforms were started so children whose parents couldn't afford to buy triple fat goose coats, for example, or the new Air Jordan. Students were also being robbed of certain items. It's a safety issue as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But go right here. I'm sorry.
I mean, but think about this for a minute. In reality, in the real world, guess what's gonna happen when you get older? If you ain't got the money to buy it, you ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
And think about this too. You going back to the styles and the fashion. We own almost 100% of that cultural drive, and that is probably what is in the back of these kids' heads. Hey, shoot, we run it because we invented it, and we're wearing it, and we see our heroes and sheroes wearing this stuff, so we want to be like them.
Well, why not be like the manufacturers and the owners of these companies?
That is the question.
Spending all our money for someone else's name to be on my back,
right?
Because they don't see them. They don't see the possibilities they can be.
Right.
If I could, I would teach. When I was going to school, I took a home ec class when I was in senior, because I couldn't play football and run track anymore. So I took home ec. I never knew how valuable a housewife was when I realized how much money I was spending at the grocery store. Half of our young people don't know how to cook. They don't know how to wash their clothes.
Wow.
If you were to tell them, oh, this is a good one. I asked all my students, I said, I got a $50 bill here at the beginning of the year. I said, now I've got a paper. If you can tell me, read 7 lines on it, you get $50. And there's a new paper that's put out every day. Everybody raise their hand, they take me up on it, and then I open up the Dow Jones. I said, so tell me what you're looking at. Tell me where the money's at.
Wow.
They don't hide it from us. Someone told me once, if you wanted to hide $1 million in our neighborhood, you put it in a library. Because ain't nobody reading.
Is that what Chris Rock said? Chris Rock said, you don't want the tickers to steal it, put it in the book. Put it in the book, they'll never touch the book.
Wow.
That's something, ain't it? Hey, BG, success is defined as simply finding something you enjoy doing and getting paid for it. Nonetheless, the bottom line is always the bottom line. And I get that, BG.
He's an author, Pastor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It is true. But how, I guess for me, I just want to know how we can get to these students to guide their minds differently. Back in the day, we spoke on this on the previous shows, we had counselors who would sit us down, and we had counselors for each individual grade. They would sit us down and say, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be? The questions, the answers were a fireman, a police officer, a doctor, a lawyer. We, on this panel, we have unconventional occupations. We say this all the time. We have unconventional occupations. We're not doctors and lawyers, but we're still thriving, So is that the standard, or should that be the standard for kids to be thinking? Or can we change their ideas by talking to them and mentoring them a different way?
Well, I think part of the problem is we don't, as a community, care how they're educated. If you go outside of our community, in the 3rd grade, they give students a test. And during that test, they find out how they learn. Are they visual learners? Are they kinesthetic learners? And then they line them up with instructors from the 3rd grade going forward to teach them how they learn. We don't do that in the neighborhood. Nope. You know what we do at our schools? We give a test in the 3rd grade that's pretty much paid for the results from Penn Products. And if you know what Penn Products do, they run institutions. Yep. And they use that same status literature to find out how many more sales to build.
Yeah.
Now that's the reality of it, and it's known by educators and ourselves. Again, back to the Nehemiah thing. All the walls, all the gates need working on. We just need to work in front of the house we're in.
Yeah.
So how can we get that in our communities? That testing that you're talking about, how can we get, who do we need to talk to? Do we need to talk to the legislators or
school board? I've got I missed a board meeting at the school that I was at tonight because I wanted to be on this. But again, I'm telling them about the ineffectiveness, because we need to listen to, education is the only industry I know that doesn't care about the customer.
Yes, and they get away with it.
I mean, we don't ask them, are the fries cold? Is the hamburger too tart or not? You know what? This is what it is. Take it and keep moving.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of them are disconnected because, okay, you don't care what I think. Okay, I don't care what you're trying to tell me.
Wow.
And like what Jeremiah was saying, kind of.
That's exactly what Jeremiah was saying last night.
I was telling you about the 17-year-old last night. That pastor that was commenting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And part of our youth bill, we have a leadership group that's called the Policy Committee. When I first started doing youth bill, you couldn't wear a pager, you couldn't have an earring, or you couldn't wear dreadlocks or have your hair braided, because we were trying to employ you. And pagers, we thought all the dope dealers had pagers. And earrings in your nose. I mean, you could not be Dennis Rodman back in my day and get a job.
Well, that's the truth. Not back in my day either. I mean,
but again, now we've made, again, the walls, we're throwing bricks at ourselves. Marijuana is legal, so we forget the fact it's still gonna keep us from getting a job we want.
Yeah.
Right.
Recreation.
Yeah.
That's
We,
right. They treat marijuana just like alcohol. You know, if
oh
you
yeah,
get
if they
caught
can
with it,
tax you.
right? If you get caught driving with it, you go to jail just like a drunk. You know.
Yep.
So they don't
But they make it
understand that
illegal.
just because you could do it, don't mean you could do it. You know?
But the best way, Sister Amos, would be to get. I know you've seen it or heard of it. Pepsi used to have, or they probably still do. I just quit watching it. This influential blacks from all over the country come together and say the state of the Black Union. Well, we all who are black know what the state is. But you supposed to have all this intellect and all this economic force. Why don't you present us with a plan to change it and quit reiterating the same old thing over and over? And the
Wow.
bottom line is, hey, if they making money from sitting up on stage, that's their gig.
Let me ask you a question, Pastor. How do you feel about some of those very people that these young ones are worshiping, coming up and and telling them that this just didn't fall out the sky, that it took this hustle to get to where I'm at right now, and these are the steps I had to take, and it just didn't go up. It went up and down, up and down, up and down. It took some work. Somebody, that's, even a P. Diddy, shoot, if he get up off his butt and do what he gonna do, or Jay-Z coming in at and with some of the more successful entertainers and business leaders need to be involved in this, because we have a lot of those folks. I mean, you see some that's out there doing their thing. You see your Shaqs and you see your LeBron James out there doing their thing.
Your Mobies,
in computer, huh?
Your Mobies.
Invested in the community. You see those folks doing that, and they're doing the best they can, but they can't do the whole world. We have a lot of resources and a lot of examples.
Well, in the city that I love and I've come to grow a part of, the last time I had opportunity to talk to someone of authority, I asked him to do this for me. Give me the ability as a citizen to invest in the community that I'm in. Every city around me is flourishing, and they're not going to bring their money to me because they figure they'll build it and I'll come out there. But let me as a citizen reinvest in this community. Didn't happen because, again, what is the end goal? I believe that truly, if we assess what we need to do and get about it instead of talking about it, I get about it every day. The young people ask me all the time, why am I there? And I told them, because I'm guilty. And they said, what do you mean because you're guilty, Pastor? I said, because you know what? I don't know where you live, but I got a 3-car garage, 5-bedroom house, jacuzzi and sauna, and I haven't helped you to understand you could have the same thing.
Right.
And guess what? I'm the kid that graduated in summer school.
Okay.
I went to the Army when I was 28 because I needed to get a real grip on life, and the Army taught me one thing. Hey, at the level of private, you do private work, but you can get to be a master sergeant.
Right.
But when you're tired, or when you're done with them, take what you learn and do for you. And that's what, I try to tell every young person. There is no silver bullet because they're so unique and so different. But who are we reaching back for? Just one of us reached back for another one and brought them up. I do a mentoring program, and I try to tell them, as a mentor, find somebody in your circle. You got 3 circles of life. You got the ones you see every day and you live with in your house. You got the ones you see as professional, your dentist, your barbershop, your beauty shop, your grocer. And then you got the ones that you see from a distance, your teachers, your principals. So ask one of them to help you get to where you want to do and do a life plan. And then you'll see where you're going, because a true mentor won't tell you what to do, but they'll tell you what happened on the road they took, and you can make the choice. But that's what we need to do. We need to start looking from every genre to where, music, acting. Why don't we have a TV show? Just like we're talking now, the public should be knowing that this exists and they need to tune in, because we're talking what everybody is talking about. And we need to get it beyond the barbershop, because talking is not helping anything. You got to get out there and be a part of the solution. Otherwise, you're part of the problem.
and they need to see this. The kids, school age kids, they do need to see this so that they can at least have the tangible evidence that it can be done.
Yeah.
BG Howard says the most challenging issue today lies in convincing young people that you're truly interested in understanding what makes them embrace their train of thought. Make our communities better. It's a matter of becoming better, but staying in the community, not getting out. You know, sometimes that community pushes you out. You know, you're trying to do something, you know, even as these kids, you're trying to do something and you're getting no support. They can't find the proper support, which leads them to the streets. But we have to be more visible, more diligent with the support that we're trying to give. I think that's what the kids aren't seeing. Jeremiah says, to fix a community, we must start with the culture. Welcome back, Jeremiah. I appreciate you coming through, man.
This is the 17-year-old pastor.
Yeah, and we don't understand exactly what Jeremiah is talking about. You have to be able to invite them to tell you what they need and then accept what they tell you.
Yeah, that's it right there.
You know, I try to tell people all the time, you know, you can look at a person and he don't have to open his mouth. You can see where he is headed. What's his prerogative, or better yet, what does he value?
And sometimes, but you have to find a way to get to those kids. The kids are more entitled these days. They feel that I got to have it now, and I'm supposed to have it now. All right, so we got to find a way to interest them. Number one, we're old, so they don't want to listen to us, but we have a story to tell. They need to listen to it. Jeremiah says we embrace the violence and death, but we never are grateful for the opportunity that's presented.
Wow.
That's something. That's something.
Yeah.
And that's coming from out of the mouths of babes, man.
Yeah.
And again, how far do we go back to change the culture? If it's the third grade, they're being impressionized. When do we put a cell phone in their hand and let them know, once again, I'm giving you opportunity to have something that you can't afford. So your driver is going to be trying to make this cell phone payment. And you got to have the next version because everybody in class got to have the same thing. Again, it's accountability. Once we're accountable, we have to make them accountable. You can't blame it if it's before you, and I don't tell you where it leads to, and you don't choose to go down that road. But all of that is not being presented, and it's not being given. We got some great guys. I was teaching some young people to play golf, and these young African-American guys were knocking the ball out the park, and I'm telling them, you know what? The material is made to make contact. You got to finesse it, and you want to put the ball where you want it, not where I hit mine. And at the end of the day, life is like playing golf. You don't play with my clubs, you play with your clubs. And you know what you can do with the ones you got in your bag. So the object is, don't play against me, play against the game. So guess what? If I learn because I can listen, I need to get an auto book and I need to listen. If I learn because I see, I need to watch it in a movie. But the way I learn determines how well I accept learning altogether.
Wow.
If it's frustrating to me because I really can't see the board and I don't want to put on my glasses, and mama know I got them, but the teacher don't, so I don't wear them. I asked a young man the other day, why you keep squinting? He said, because I need to wear my glasses. I said, where they at? He said, in my pocket. I said, well, if you can see through your butt, son, you need to put them on your face.
Ta-da.
Wow. So that's you know, as I'm listening, I guess what you're saying is there's plenty of examples out there of what, you know, how great you can be and what you can, you know, attain to be. Okay, but at the end of the day, for me, that kid has to identify himself. He has to know who he is. He has to know what he
his
wants.
identity.
Yeah. To be like someone else.
Yeah. And me and Sister Amos were talking, and I was trying to tell her, we know that the loss of the retainability of knowledge drops every year because the summer breaks, everything gets in their mind, and the teacher has to begin the first quarter of the year teaching them or refreshing them what they lost over the summer. So knowing that as educators, why haven't we moved to what most white communities have and do year-round school? Why don't we understand it's still 365 days and they still get the same breaks, but the retention of knowledge is greater going year-round? Why is it that we got an airport, but nobody's teaching avionics to our kids? They see planes fly over, they don't understand nothing about the dynamics of what's in their community.
Wow. Wow. And that goes back to the school board as well, as far as year-round schooling.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things to whereas the Nehemiah program, the child loves the summer. And he has no idea what he's setting himself up by not graduating at the best that he can be, because all he's told is graduate. You know, he don't understand after graduate, all that time that he missed sitting in class, throwing paper and all that, he gonna wish he was paying attention to what he was looking at. Because at the end of the day, that's what his exposure comes from. You know, I would rather take my students and take them to 3 places. I need to take them to City Hall because they don't understand how the city works. They don't understand the power they have. Then I like to take them to the senior citizens homes because the history of our people is locked up in people with gray hair. And they don't need to read the book. They can listen to the book. And they can know that it's real. The same thing that's out there yesterday, same thing today. Then the last place I'd like to take them to is a correctional institution.
Wow.
And I tell them from the giddy up, when they read the doggone me, Dow Jones, I have to admit, I am in a win-win situation. I'm invested, and I'm invested in both ends of the spectrum. You go to corrections, I got money there. You can make license plate. Hey, somebody's gonna do it. Might well help me along with my journey. But if you go to the other end of the spectrum and run a company, I'm investing with you. But at the end of the day, I need them to see the whole picture and then decide. I got a hole in the street in front of my house because I'm not telling people to come fill it. They work for me. I tell my son, remember, when the policeman pulls you over, he's working for you. You pay his salary. So tell him, officer, how's your day going? If it's a problem, just let me know. I'll correct it. Thank you for doing your job. Because you paying him to do that job. That's a whole different attitude change. But then again, you know, don't be stupid because he understands authority. Most of the kids in our schools don't understand or accept the authority in which they under because, you know, mom and dad is just kicking it with them. And again, that's part of the Nehemiah project. That's part of the Nehemiah project. You can't club with your kids.
Trying to be the friend. Hey, look, Jeremiah says, I don't think it's year-round schools, but the fact that there are summer opportunities provided. Parents don't push their kids towards the programs nor discipline them for things that they do. A lot of kids turn to the streets because they're bored or have nothing to fear. Glennis says the first mentor should be the parent. Child should be able to emulate the good they see in their parents every day. My parents worked. My grandparents worked. My uncles worked. I assume I would work as well. The parental unit has to step up their game. FYI, Ivy Tech does offer aviation courses. And Jeremiah says a few public schools in Nashville have aviation as a main course, and they're presented the opportunity, but never latch onto it. And
that's something that's here in Northwest Indiana too, that they're saying that they have free skills training and different things like construction and other avenues where you don't have to necessarily go to college and it's free, but we're not taking advantage of it.
Because the parents aren't telling the kids to take advantage of it.
Some of the schools.
Again, the young lady who commented that her parents worked and the people worked around her, but has she ever went to work with them? Because it's one thing to have a job, it's another to have a career.
Okay.
You know, when you get to the point where you forgot yesterday was payday, you got a career. You know,
Say that again.
and it's a big difference.
That's
You
good.
know,
That says a lot.
because if I go out and when I get home and mom get home and all of them got an attitude because they've been to work, do I really want to go to work? So I don't want to come home with that, that attitude. So, I think the examples are correct, but I would rather say, take them. I've tried to expose my children to the plethora of things that I do in the community. And I have some of them that are following my footsteps, but I don't tell them, but they know that the opportunity is there and how to do it.
Okay.
I have.
Mother owned the business, her own business. So yeah, she was involved. Go ahead.
Well, I just thought about what she was saying. She had examples, and her examples were, great ones, and they didn't expect nothing less than her to get out and work. If she did more than that, awesome. If she owned businesses just like them, again, she had examples. A lot of these young ones don't have examples, good examples anyway. They have examples of in the opposite direction, where they're running in streets and doing these wrong things. They have plenty of those examples. Not to mention the entertainment business supplies up enough of it on TV. If we don't, if they could be living in a pretty high end neighborhood and they get enough examples supplied up on TV, and they're not even living in it.
Yeah. Today we had a workshop and we had the Red Cross come in and our AmeriCorps members worked with 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. And the students applauded them. Then I did an after action with our students and said, now how did that feel? Helping them educate them and see that they were asking you questions, you had the answers. How do you feel? They said, I feel better about being in the school because I'm helping the lower grades and this and that. I said, well, you know what? You might want to be an educator because that's the whole point of education, to improve somebody and see that light come on and get reward from it.
Right.
We got too many instructors and not enough educators.
Right. So how do you feel about that kindergarten to 12th grade one school deal?
That's how school is.
If the environment is large enough, you can't compact those age groups in a smaller environment and want to call it holistically well. But if you have a large enough campus to where if I've got a child that's in the 4th grade and I've got a child in the 8th grade, I can come to the same school and deal with it. And, going forward, they understand the dynamics of being there. I think it would be great. I think we just don't have a campus large enough for that process. I do not like the idea that you got 1st graders coming down the hallway and on the other hallway, you may have an 11th grade fight going on.
No.
That's it.
Or again, I say, when they're younger, they're so impressionable. If I see a young lady walking down the hall and she's got pink and blue hair and she's dressed in a certain way and everybody seems to give her attention, now I want to be like her. And as my grandmother used to say, an empty wagon makes a lot of noise.
Whoop.
I love it when people come up with these things. An empty wagon, a lot of noise. Hey, Jeremiah says it always starts with the parent. No father figure means you have nobody to fear. Social media always the rappers talking about committing crimes and such. Kids learn from their environment.
Yeah, that's something I brought up the other last week when we had the filmmaker on. When I was saying a lot of our films, we have a lot of African American filmmakers now, and as well as the music, and a lot of the things that they're showing is negative, and so the kids are looking at these videos and the movies. Oh, I want a big house like that. Oh, I want the bling and I want these cars, and they don't realize a lot of this stuff is rented for the videos and the movies. Again, I tell them, do something positive. You can still get some of those things, but do something positive with your life. Again, but that's what our kids are watching.
But see, and they feel entitled, okay? And again, YouTube has made them think that they can do all of this. TikTok has made them think that they can be millionaires right off the bat because a few have done it. All right.
Yeah.
But I don't think that teaches them the right lesson.
I would love if we had an academy. You enroll yourself, but this is what we're putting out to parents and teachers. We have a holistic year-round training, and we will, if you want to be an entrepreneur, we have that track. If you want to be an artist, we have that track. If you want to go into nursing, we have that track. And we're not talking about just the track of serving. If you want to own a business, we have that track. And then tell the student, come if you want to, because at the end of the day, I realize the net that I put down is not for every fish in the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And
Pastor, they want it now though. You can tell them, here's the track, here's this, here's that. Hey man, I don't want to do all of that right now. I just want it right now. Show me how to get it today.
And that's my thing is you're not going to get it today. I want to open up with, if you're not willing to, like, we do a mental toughness in our program. It's almost like a boot camp. If you can't get there on time, every day I take a seat out the room. If you're the last one in, your seat's gone.
Wow. That's real. That's real.
If you're not prepared to engage, you would be better mature coming up and telling an instructor, I'm having a bad day. Can you please excuse me? Because they learn to address adversity and say, I don't want this to contaminate the area. Please excuse me. But you only get so many excuses, because at the end of the day, you got to learn how to hold your gas. So we try to tell the students that, it's 2 guarantees we make with our program. First, I guarantee I'm going to bring every resource to the table that will help you better yourself and move from dependency to independency.
Okay.
Secondly, I ain't going to let one monkey stop the show. We don't have class clowns. If it ain't your time, no problem. I've never put someone out. I just documented their exit.
Oh, you better than me, Pastor, because I'll be like, hey, gotta go.
Take the stage left.
and at the end of the day, the policy committee, the young people will tell them, Tony, only reason you came is because Sarah came. Sarah's doing good, but you just an ointment. Bro, this ain't for you because you're trying to mess up what we doing. And ask them to politely leave. You got to have some self-governance around young people. Those who will, we encourage them to come. Those who want to, we open the door and make it accessible to them. But we got to also remember, misery loves company. And we got some miserable young people, unfortunately, out there.
Yeah,
they don't come to school to be educated.
That's unfortunate because, I can never understand why a kid is stressed. I can't get it. That just boggles my mind. Look,
you got to go home. You got to go home with them, Doc. I've been to some houses, and because I've seen some faces, and I know the answer wasn't in them, but around them. And when I go home and the door open, and I get a contact hair out on the porch, and mother in there, but he don't know who in there next, disrespecting him. And he got to be under that. He come with a chip on his shoulder every day. I'm like, son, you alive. You got so much opportunity in front of you. Why are you at 8 o'clock in the morning mad as hell?
Wait a minute.
Yes, man.
Wow.
Look, Jeremiah says nobody's themselves these days. Everyone's scared of being judged. Parents don't allow them to be themselves, so they're always harboring some feelings. They always want to be accepted. Me, personally, that's not, because I can just tell when I see younger kids try to act like people they're not, and deep down will never be. We have those academies in Nashville that we were speaking of earlier. They're required to graduate in Nashville. You need 3 years in the Select Academy program. There's a bunch of stuff, law, nursing, aviation, architecture, et cetera, et cetera. That's good stuff, man.
Wow.
Glenn says we almost need neighborhood boarding schools. Sometimes the home life is where the danger lies.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would love to see children built up daily where we could house them year round and keep out the foolishness and negativity that some parents bring. They could visit their children.
That's wow right there.
Everybody says people don't choose to be miserable. I guess misery is is brought upon them. So I get it. And Jeremiah, again, man, I'm hoping that this conversation is kind of opening up your mind and helping you, and you're definitely helping us with the conversation that you're.
Well, you know, my daddy used to say, son, you woke up this morning and you walked to school, and you went to class and then you walked home. Now ask the man that don't have legs how that day went.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, about maybe 10 years ago with our program, we were approached and we did have a dorm in our facility. And we just opened the dorm for whoever needed housing. And you had to go before the policy committee and tell them why you needed housing and why you wanted to be in the dorm. And a lot of them were just that, you know what? I can't focus on getting better where I am because I'm trying to survive.
Wow. And these are kids.
Oh yeah, they sleeping with their wallet in their pocket and in their clothes because they don't never know what knock at the door might be the police or the guys that's down the street. They ready to roll, and a lot of kids, I used to ask them, well, why you come to the program and you fall asleep? And they said, this is the only place I feel safe, Reverend. I said, really? So we did a dorm, and the dorm was very successful, and to the point to where again, they wanted to have a young community out of it, and we had them on the honor system, and we didn't want to build a population that rapid. Put it like that.
Okay, I got you. Our hour has rolled by so quickly. But we want to sum it up tomorrow. Okay, we want to get our week of talking about the state of schools. We want to sum it up tomorrow. So hopefully you all will come through, hang out with us, and give us answers. Jeremiah, I hope you come back tomorrow again. Again, your comments are helping us formulate ideas.
He's shedding some light on a lot of things.
Yeah. At 17, wow.
Wow. I've got some young people I'm going to invite to tune in because, again, they tell me we need a platform. And I'm like, you got to start talking, but this is a great platform. And once they know they're being heard, it empowers them. Yes, I appreciate what you're doing, Brother Gray. Sister, thank you all for what you're doing. Our community, our society needs this.
Yeah,
we appreciate that, Pastor. We appreciate you coming, giving us insight as well.
Yes,
we needed an outsider's view of what's going on from your point of view. As we do every day, man, we go around the room and let everybody express themselves. Pastor, we're gonna start with you.
I believe that there is greatness in every individual, and water seeks its own level. But if we inspired to do what we say, and that's make our community better, it's got to be done one person at a time. Work in front of your house and just love on each other. Just love on each other.
Absolutely.
Man, look, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing because I've always told, I call them my surrogate children. These are people that came in contact with me, on their life journey. And I tell them, I said, the best thing you could do is pass any good knowledge or anything that's your success along to the next one. A lot of us don't teach each other how to be successful. And that is a problem, because every other generation and every other culture but ours helps the next next generation move up. We got to learn how to pass that information on and not worry about if they're going to pass you up, because that's the whole point. If you pass me up, then I've done what God told me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Marcy.
Again, thank you, Pastor, for coming on.
Thank you.
Parents, community, let's start supporting each other. Let's start making solutions and changing the narrative of what's happening. We need to do better.
Gina.
Yes, I first I want to commend you, Pastor, for getting out there and taking an interest in the youth and helping them, because the more help that we can give them, I think the better it'll be. We have to stop talking about it and be about it. Stop talking all day long about what should happen, what we should do, and get out here and do some things. It may not seem like you're making a difference, but you're making a difference in that little corner that you're in. And if we could get more people to make a difference in those corners, it'll become big. But until then, we're going to continue to just have platforms where we talk about it and go on the next day and nothing's done.
See, I wish there was an opportunity we could, but this was all we had to talk about. But you know, there's other things that have to be talked about. But the people that really need to be talking about this outside of ourselves are those teachers, are those principals, are those politicians who have a way to make a change. You know, we can stomp and march all day long, all right, but we have to get it to the right ears, period. All right. I appreciate you, Pastor, coming through and hanging out with us on Dope Living TV Live. You're welcome to come back anytime you get ready, man. Come back tomorrow. And hold on, Gina. Hold on. Today is the 25th. In 2 weeks, we're gonna be in Vegas. All right, at the Distinguished Author. Was that what you was going to say?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna be in 2 weeks at the Distinguished Author in Las Vegas. All right. Go ahead, Gina.
I was going to ask the pastor if he could get permission for a few of those youth to come on tomorrow and actually give us more insight. It's good hearing from the youth. It's good hearing from Jeremiah, because a lot of what he brings up never crossed my mind.
Because
if you'd have been on here yesterday, I mean, that young man was like, whoa.
It would be great if we could have some of those youth to come on and actually talk about what they're going through, talk about what are people doing to make a difference to them, or what they're not doing,
and what do they feel we can do to help out more.
I will tomorrow tell the student body that I deal with 22, and don't be surprised if all 22 of them don't tune in, because I've told them that, you know, God gave you two things. He gave you 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to talk with. So when you say something, think about it, because a lot of people are listening.
Yeah,
I appreciate what you guys are doing, but yes, there will be some young people tuning in tomorrow.
Let's do it. We need to hear from the youth, or they are what we're talking about. All right.
Yeah.
We want to get them to that next level. We want to get them to the next level successfully. And if maybe they can talk amongst themselves, because it happens, something happens here, then something happens there.
Yeah.
If these two aren't hearing each other, you know what I mean? So
and their focus should be on education, right? I want to let them know the topic and let them know what they need to come to be able to talk about.
Yeah, let us know the pluses and the negatives that they're facing, you know?
Oh, without a doubt.
Let's get it. Okay.
We appreciate you, Pastor.
Yes, I appreciate y'all.
Jeremiah,
Jeremiah says he wants to come on. I was just texting him.
Help him out. Help him out too, Mo, because he says his phone.
He's got an iPhone, so you have to copy and paste that in the browser.
There's nothing wrong.
And then we'll have, let's see, 3 more spots tomorrow.
Yeah, but we can switch them out. It's not a problem. We get it all on. Do what we do. All right. Pastor, again, thank you for coming through, man. Blessing us with your presence.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing what you do.
We appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Live, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna close it out tomorrow, so we'll see you tomorrow. All right.
All right.
Great.